Hey, welcome to another Fireside chat. Just glad you can join us if you're catching this online. As we've been doing this again, we're trying to offer information and encouragement. And so I was thinking about that, even as we work our way through this pandemic, as the time goes by, and now we're talking about how do we reopen and what happens next and all this. I was trying to think what might be the concerns of people. And I think maybe there's a couple things, at least for me. Maybe I'll just share what I'm concerned about because as I watch the news and I try to figure out what's going on, it seems to be some conflicting messages out there as to what is it really, and how does it really work, and how would we really test and make sure that we're safe, and when will there be a relapse of this whole COVID thing? It just seems like there's a lot of just confusion as to what's next and how it's going to work. And then the other thing is, I think people are wondering, amidst all this, what do I do? There's a lot of stuff out there, and I'm not sure what's true and what's not true, but what do I do next? I mean, how do I handle what goes on? And so but I thought just to address those things, as I was doing devotions here this week, one of the scriptures I came across is one of my favorites. John chapter 14, verse 6, where Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. And I started thinking about that, and we often talk about the way, the truth, and the life, and no one goes to the Father except through me. Like our only way to heaven, our only way into that eternity that God promises us in paradise is through Him. But I don't want to miss those first two words. I'm the way, and I'm the truth. And I started thinking about truth. If Jesus is the truth, if Jesus embodies truth, the only way for us to know what is really true is to run it through the filter of Jesus. Is to make sure that anything we say is truth, but we don't connect it to Jesus and we don't filter it through Jesus and His Word, it's not quite truth. The only way to get to truth is through Him, the embodiment of truth. And so if we really want to know what's true, we probably need to keep spending time in our Bibles, keep spending time in worship, and use that as a filter for all the things we're hearing. What is the best thing? What is God planning? What does God have in store? I've had a couple people ask me, let me jump off subject just for a moment, but I've had a couple people say, did God cause COVID-19? My answer is no. I don't believe God caused that. That would wreck a whole lot of what I believe about our God, but I don't think He caused it. But we need to remember that the authority in this world and the one who is still active in this world is Satan. And until Jesus comes again and casts him out, he's still alive and active. And this is a broken and hurting world. Therefore, we have pandemics. Now, does God want to take that pandemic that is not caused by Him and use it to draw people closer to Him? To bring people back and to say, you know what? Maybe I'm not God. Maybe I don't have control of all things. Maybe I have to say, I don't know what's going to happen next, and maybe there's someone who does. And so we trust God on those, and we come back to God on those. And so the truth, it's only when we filter it through God and God's Word. That's when we find truth. And then He says the way. Well, how do we know what direction to take? How do we know which direction to go next? Well, He says, I'm the way. I think about the disciples following Jesus around Galilee and Judea and Jerusalem as He walked the earth. They didn't have to think about, what should I do next? All they did was follow Jesus. And they understood more about what Jesus was up to the closer they followed. I think about this group of guys, 12 guys, following Jesus, and those who were like right next to Him could hear Him saying, hey, here's where we're going and here's why. And then sorry, it's a real house and we've got dogs walking around. Sorry. Anyway, so I think about that, about these guys walking around. They didn't have to think about it. They just followed Jesus. And they knew what He was up to the closer they were to Him. I mean, if they were 10 yards behind, they couldn't hear what Jesus was talking about and why we're going this direction and why we're doing these things. But the closer they were, the more they realized, oh, this is what Jesus is up to. So maybe in these times, if we want to know what to do next, we should follow just a little closer to Jesus. And Jesus, what are you up to? And what do you want me to do next? How do you want me to reach out to others? How do you want me to care for people's eternities in these unprecedented days? What can I do for those things? And um, so I just wanted that to be an encouragement to us. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Boy, those three words should stick with us in these times. In these times that we don't know. Well, he's the truth. I don't know which way to go. I don't know what to do next. He's the way. Well, what happens if he holds our eternities? And so hopefully in these times we'll come back to our Bibles, we'll come back to our devotions, we'll come back to worship. Let me just remind us we're worshiping on Sunday online, bmzchurch.org /stream. And that's 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock on Sunday. And I'm going to ask for your prayers. I'm actually, as I'm recording this, I'm also working and finishing up a sermon on dating. I will take your prayers as we think about that. Now, some of you are going, well, I'm way past dating. That doesn't pertain to me. Well, maybe you need to invite somebody to worship with you this Sunday who might be in that. Or maybe you're a parent or a grandparent, and you just need to pass this link on later and say, you need to think about dating maybe in a little different way. It'll help you, it'll be better for you, and all the people around you. Anyway, so I'll take your prayers for that. And so I will see you on Sunday, 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock. We'll worship, or I'll see you on the next Fireside Chat. See you next time.